ஷூட்டிங் ஸ்பாட்டில் வந்து ஸோ ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு பிக் நியூஸ் என்னன்னா, ஸோ சாருக்கு வந்து ஆக்சிடென்ட் ஆன அந்த நீங்கள் தான் ரெஸ்கியூ பண்ண அப்படின்ட்டு சாரே சொல்லியிருக்காரு. ஸோ அந்த இன்சிடென்ட் பற்றி சொல்ல முடியுமா?
So we were shooting a love song. It was my final schedule. It was a final schedule of Pichaikaran. And last schedule, last day, almost last shot, and our accident happened. So it was all going great, just last shot, and the crew boat was like in the middle of the sea, and we were coming from a distance. We were coming from in between two mountains, and we were supposed to go closely and from the left.
Okay.
And Vijay sir, being Vijay sir, he was trying to give his best.
Okay.
And he came like this, and instead of going left, like he banged into the boat. And I think it was because of the speed that the jet ski got stuck with a huge wave. I held on to him. Once I came out of the water, I realized he's faint, he's unconscious, and he's only bleeding out of his mouth. And it was a very scary experience because I thought he's dead. I really thought he was gone. As I just took a breath, I turned around, I'm seeing the camera is just holding him face down in the water, and blood is only mixing into the water. And I mean, I still remember that moment. I seriously thought he's dead. We've lost him. And this would be the most painful way to end a schedule, you know, like the worst way to end a movie.
Bad experience.
I mean, I have a very different outlook and approach in life. Maybe it comes from my Guruji, because I believe whatever happens, happens for a reason, and that reason is always good.
ஹாய் கவ்யா, வணக்கம்.
வணக்கம்.
எப்படி இருக்கீங்க?
ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கு.
சூப்பர்.
நீங்க எப்படி இருக்கீங்க?
சூப்பரா இருக்கேன். ஓகே, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இது பிளாஸ்ட் ஆஃப் அண்ட் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஃபிலிம் மார்க்கெட் ராஜா 2019. ஆக்சுவலி ஒரு 5 years வந்து ரீஎன்ட்ரி வந்து மறுபடியும் கொடுத்துருக்கீங்க. ஸோ ஹவு டு யூ ஃபீல்?
I feel amazing. I think it was a big step for me from Market Raj MBBS to coming to Pichaikaran 2, which was previously said to be a blockbuster in Tamil and Telugu. So I think it was like a blessing that fell into my lap, and I was very, very grateful I could work with like Anthony sir, Vijay Anthony sir, because he is a man of many. And I think, you know how usually people will say the jack of all and king of none. I think he's a king of all. He's so talented and definitely an all-rounder, and to be able to share screen space with him and to be a part of Pichaikaran 2, which is already a brand in itself, was like really a blessing.
Why are you choosing Pichaikaran 2?
Firstly, I wanted to do Tamil movie, which is like a must for me because I love Tamil cinema, and I wanted to do a Tamil film. After Market Raja MBBS, I thought, gone. Like, I won't get any opportunity. But I was supposed to do Vijay Raghavan with Sir before, but it didn't work out because of dates and stuff, and I was doing a couple of other things. So that didn't work out, and then came Pichaikaran 2, and Sir was like, there's an interesting film. So I came down to Chennai, and before that I actually did a FaceTime, a Zoom call with Fatima ma'am and Sandra ma'am. And in that we connected so well, like just on a personal level, on a human level and a personality level, we connected very deeply. So I was feeling very positive and warm towards this. And then when the final narration happened, so I came down to Chennai. Sir gave me the narration, and I loved the script and I loved the character. I was very interested. And I think within a day or two, we finalized everything and went ahead with it.
Who narrated the script actually?
Sir only, Vijay sir.
Okay.
Yeah, and his assistant director was also there, Ajay. So even they both actually did it. Yeah.
Okay. Vijay told you are very spiritual.
I believe there's one God, and as long as you are true to yourself, not causing pain and harm to anything, that is, I think whatever you see with your open eyes is God. And when you shut your eye, there is God within you also. So I don't believe in religion. I'm not a very religious person. I am a spiritual person. I believe in, like I said, it can be anybody. I feel a lot of avatars came and instead of listening to what they were saying, we made them God.
Okay.
You are God. Instead of what they were actually telling us, we just made religions on their name. But they were all saying one thing, that there is one God. That's it.
Okay.
So I believe in that basically. And I was a hardcore non-vegetarian and I completely switched to vegetarian.
Oh.
And now I'm vegan.
Okay.
Yeah. And I usually either I'm working or shooting or I'm in my Guruji's ashram.
ஓகே, எதனால வந்து உடனே வந்து சேஞ்ச் ஆனீங்க?
So many things changed. I changed, my perspective to life changed. The way I behaved changed. Like my mom literally says, if you were like this, you became like this. Like full U-turn. Like when I was a non-vegetarian, I became a vegetarian because I realized that animals do feel pain. They are sentient beings. Whereas plants, being living things, they are not sentient.
Okay.
They don't feel it.
Okay.
So there are 4 stages of consciousness. I mean, if I keep talking about it, I can go all day long. If you have time, like maybe we can do it till midnight, this interview. But many things make you believe in a lot of things. But so either I'm here or I'm in the ashram, I'm doing seva or simran, satsang, like, yeah.
நிறைய டெபியூட் டைரக்டர் கூட ஒர்க் பண்ணிருக்கீங்க. அண்ட் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் டைரக்ட் பண்றாரு விஜயன் சார். ஸோ எப்படி இருந்தது? ஷூட்டிங் ஸ்பாட்ல எப்படி இருப்பாரு?
I mean, honestly speaking, he did not seem like a debut director.
Oh.
He was so like in control. He had a beautiful vision which was so clear. He knew what he wanted and he delivered it. He executed it. Of course, he was also surrounded by a great set of technicians and team and people who supported him to his best. But he's still very talented, and like he says this in other interviews, that I still need to like learn a lot about direction, which is true. Maybe because it's his first time, he must have learned so much on set. But he was so on top of things. He was a very dedicated director as well as actor, as well as editor. Like right after our accident, one day later, he wanted his laptop to start editing the song that we were shooting. And we were like, God, man, take a break.
Okay.
Like, he was not ready to take a break. Because he was like, what I'll do is sit and think, rather I work. So he's like that disciplined. So there is like, again, like there's a lot to learn from him. And I think people also, once they see the movie, will be pleasantly surprised with his direction. And he's really gone all out.
Okay.
So yeah.
ஷூட்டிங் ஸ்பாட்ல வந்து ஸோ ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு பிக் நியூஸ் என்னன்னா, ஸோ சாருக்கு வந்து ஆக்சிடென்ட் ஆன அந்த நீங்க தான் ரெஸ்கியூ பண்ண அப்படின்ட்டு சாரே சொல்லியிருக்காரு. ஸோ அந்த இன்சிடென்ட் பத்தி சொல்ல முடியுமா?
So we were shooting a love song. It was my final schedule. It was a final schedule of Pichaikaran. And last schedule, last day, almost last shot, and our accident happened actually. Okay. We had a crew boat and we were in the middle of the Langkawi Sea. And we had a crew boat containing of 15 people around. We had like 4 different camera equipments. We had the Jimmy, we had the drone, we had drone people, we had assistants, we had direction department, we had the boat people. So a lot of people were on the boat itself, and just the 2 of us were on a jet ski. And for a good 30 to 45 minutes, we were in the water. He was doing very well. And before the shot also, for 35 to 45 minutes, he was on practicing. So it was all going great. Just last shot, and the crew boat was like in the middle of the sea, and we were coming from a distance. We were coming from in between 2 mountains, and we were supposed to go closely and from the left.
Okay.
And Vijay sir, being Vijay sir, he was trying to give his best.
Okay.
And he came like this, and instead of going left, like he banged into the boat. And I think it was because of the speed that the jet ski got stuck with a huge wave. So it's not very clear exactly what happened, because I feel like it was a culmination of 2-3 things that happened, and it banged. After the bang, I just remember us being in the water.
Okay.
And I had a very blurry vision because I was wearing lenses in salt water. But in that, I could just see him going down, down, down. And I just remembered he doesn't know how to swim.
Oh.
And we weren't wearing life jackets or anything. So I quickly went, I held on to him and I got us back afloat.
He knows swimming. Yeah.
Thanks to my elder brother who drowned me a lot in the swimming pool. As a kid. Like, he's the reason I'm alive. I really tell him that. So I held on to him. Once I came out of the water, I realized he's unconscious, and he's only bleeding out of his mouth.
Oh.
And it was a very scary experience because I thought he's dead. I really thought he was gone.
Oh.
He was unconscious, he was bleeding out of his mouth, and I just started, and at that time everybody was so shook that nobody did anything. So I started screaming, jump, jump, because I was telling people to jump in because it was very difficult to keep both of us afloat. So two people jumped in, camera assistant jumped in, and one more person jumped in, and I gave sir to the camera assistant, and two people pulled me into the boat. As I just took a breath, I turned around. I'm seeing the camera is just holding him face down in the water, and blood is only mixing into the water. And I mean, I still remember that moment. I seriously thought he's dead. We've lost him. And this would be the most painful way to end a schedule, like the worst way to end a movie schedule.
Okay.
And we all started, like, Om sir was there, and we were all, I started screaming, pull him in, because he was still drowning in a way. Even though he was above water, he was still taking in the water, which means his lung would have collapsed. So I started screaming, pull him in. 2-3 more people jumped in, got him into the boat. Om sir started pumping his stomach, and finally he puked. Once he puked that water, I thought he's puking his internal organs, honestly, because it was very foamy and scary. And I'm just looking, and finally, once he puked, he gained consciousness. We could all take a breath. Seriously, till that moment, it's not even a very long stretch. It was maybe 7 to 8 minutes, this whole thing, but it felt like years, honestly. And then once he gained consciousness, we could just see blood coming out of his mouth. We have no idea where from, whether it's internal, whether he's injured or punctured an organ, you never know. So we rushed to a nearby hospital. We stabilized him, checked him, and we realized, okay, he's fine. The doctor stabilized the both of us, they put us into an ambulance and they took us to a bigger hospital where I got my stitches done, and he did all his basic surgeries, because he basically incurred multiple fractures in his jaw. His nose broke, he had a scratch in his eyeball, his lungs was full of salt water, so he was on oxygen. He was in extreme chest pain, and like his full face has changed in so many ways, and now he has around 8 to 9 plates in his jaw area, and he still says like he still needs to do a lot more surgeries and stuff. So yeah, this is a
bad experience.
I mean, I have a very different outlook and approach in life. Maybe it comes from my Guruji, because I believe whatever happens for a reason, and that reason is always good.
Oh.
Maybe you don't realize it now, but later on, when we look back into life, we're like, oh yeah, thank God that happened, And moreover, I think the reason I don't see this as a bad experience is because when I thought about this accident later on, I had 3 months of recovery. So when I thought about this accident, there was not one but multiple ways of this resulting fatally for Sir, me, or 17 people.
Okay.
Because had Sir hit the jet ski in the middle of the boat, the jet ski would fly into the boat, fatally injuring people in the boat, and it had a tent kind of a thing, like a steel roof on the boat, so we would both break our necks or cut our necks and die instantly. The boat would break from the middle, and 17 people would drown in the middle of Langkawi Sea. If not that, had he hit the side and I flew away from him, he would drown, and I would save myself, but he would drown because I wouldn't be away, right? Because I hit right on my head.
I saw
so if I had hit and fainted, we both would drown. So multiple ways. If I had injured my eye, I could lose an eye right now. I'd be like sitting like this. Who knows? So like this, I feel like I'm very happy that it went the way it did. Maybe it sometimes happens that big things happen in small ways. So I sort of feel like this is one of that event where, and I don't know, but in that same moment, my Guruji, I felt him there. I think he saved me. And even Fatima ma'am, she's a very spiritual woman. She's a woman who prays. And even at that time, she was talking to one of her prayer friend. And in that moment, my Guruji was in Hyderabad. And he was sitting right next to a lake.
Okay.
And he was talking about me to one of my Guru Bhais. And I knew where he was. So once the accident happened, I started calling him instantly. And he doesn't answer his phone because he's not into phones and all. So I started calling my Bhai. And once I called him, he was in shock because they were literally talking about me in that moment.
That
And he's like, Baba, Kavya ka video call aa raha hai. He picks up the video call and I'm fully bloody. And I was like, Bhai, Srinivas Bhai, please Guruji ko phone do. So Guruji saw it and he knew because he's awakened. So awakened means he knew it in a way. And I felt like in his way, he protected me.
கேட்கும் போதே ஒரு மாதிரி பதட்டமாக இருக்கு. ஸோ பிளட்லேயே போயிட்டு ரொம்பவே தேங்க் பண்ணியிருப்பார் நினைக்கிறேன் ஆக்சுவலாக விஜய் ஆண்டனி சார். ஆஃப்டர் இன்சிடென்ட்க்கு அப்புறம் விஜய் ஆண்டனி சார் பார்த்தாரா, என்ன சொன்னார் உங்ககிட்ட?
Yeah, we spoke, I think, a little. I think because once I did my stitching, he gained consciousness in the night because they did a little minor mouth surgeries and teeth and all of gum surgeries and stitched his lips up because everything tore. His tongue was swollen, so he couldn't eat. He still can't chew properly. He still has a couple of surgeries left to go. So I think I saw him then, and the only thing I wanted him to know was we are all good. You don't have to worry, because in that moment, if something happens, even minutely because of someone, they take responsibility, right? Like, oh shit, because of me this happened, because of me so somebody suffered or whatever. But I wanted him to know that forget all that. I'm very happy. I was very happy. I was dancing around in the emergency room because we were alive. From me coming to the moment holding him like a dead body to him alive was like a biggest blessing for me. I didn't care, like whatever. I was just happy he's alive and sane. Because had he hit a wrong part of his head, he could be paralyzed, he could lose his sensibility, and anything could happen. You never know. But the fact that he was fine, sane, in his senses and good, and his other body part, everything can be fixed at the end of the day, today in today's world. Everything else can be fixed as long as you're alive. That's the most important. So I think I just told him, chill, relax, you be good, I am good. Like, I think that was our first communication. And the second communication was the next day I had a flight back to Bombay because it was the last day of shoot. So the next day, I went to him in the ICU, and that time he was more in his senses and more better. And he, I think, just said, I'm really sorry. And I said, are you crazy? You chill. Like, I didn't want him to feel that guilt in any way. I wanted him to I told him, like, just focus on your recovery and, don't focus on anything. And then by that time, his family also reached there. So we were all encouraging him. And Vijay sir, being Vijay sir, he literally asked for his laptop so that he could start editing the song in that ICU. And we were like, no, just chill. Take some time to chill. You're done being so dedicated, done being so disciplined. Bas, now chill, relax. And he's like this. I mean, we were all thinking, obviously, this is not a right way to relax. But yeah.
And total output eppadi Pichaikaran 2 vandirukku?
Gists of it, actually. I've not even myself gotten. I've seen most of it. It's not, maybe like a few twerks, and the final output is still left to be seen. But I'm very excited to see it. And I mean, I also heard a lot from John Vijay and stuff, and they all told me they dubbed for it, so they were like very happy. Like just yesterday, John sir sent me a picture of mice, and then he's like, "Oh, you've done very well," and all of that. And I was like, "Tell me more. What is happening?" So he told me it's come out visually grand, like how you saw the trailer. Sir did want to go all out because when people came to watch Pichaikaran 1, they came with no expectations, and then it was a blockbuster.
Yeah.
And now is Pichaikaran 2, and now they have expectations. So I'm sure we've all put in the work to justify ourselves, and Pichaikaran 2, the name, Vijay sir's outdone himself in every way, and he's really not compromised on anything, whether it was music, direction, cinematography, locations, casting, whatever it could be, he's done his best and more. So I just hope that people enjoy it and love it. That's
சூப்பர், வேற லெவல் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் நினைக்கிறேன். அண்ட் ஃபார்ஸி அந்த எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் பற்றி சொல்லுங்க. ஸோ எப்படி இருந்தது? அண்ட் விஜேஎஸ் கூட வந்து உங்களுக்கு காம்பினேஷன் இல்லைனா கூட ஸோ ப்ரமோஷன்ஸில் நிறைய யூ மெட் தம். ஸோ என்ன சொன்னார் விஜய் சேதுபதி?
So I never really had a combination scene. So there was not a day that I met him actually, which was one of the downsides to this. But I think we were also shooting in COVID times at that point. So we were all in a bubble and we were not really meeting a lot or sitting together a lot as usually on sets you would because of being in a bubble. And my experience in Farzi was, of course, exceptional. Another feather in my cap, I would say. And you know, I am grown up to Bollywood movies. So I've seen Ishq Vishk Pyar Vyar, and from literally fantasizing about Shahid, like, oh, he's the, like, you know how girls would really love it. I loved Shahid growing up, and he was the most wanted guy at that time. So from there to coming and being his girlfriend on screen was like mind blowing. I couldn't believe it. Plus, apart from that, I think to work with Raj and DK was a dream come true for me. They are exceptional directors and such so amazing. Like, they're so chill and so nice to work with. Then even Rashi. I think me, Rashi and Shahid, I worked mainly with Shahid only, and one scene was with me, Shahid and Rashi. So even Rashi, I've had a word with her before as well. So she's a lovely person. All in all, amazing.
You work in so much of multi-language industry, and how is Tamil industry?
Amazing. I said I am a big fan of Tamil cinema. Kamal Hassan sir is one of my favorites. Of course, Rajnikant sir is one of my favorites. And after Farzi, even Vijay sir is my favorite. Ajay sir is my favorite. Surya sir is my favorite. So it's like, I love them all. And I don't know why. I think maybe in my past life I was a South Indian or something, that I relate so strongly to this culture. Even when I'm doing Telugu films, I love being in Hyderabad. It's my staple food to have idli dosa. It's very sad that South has ruined me to have idli dosa anywhere else in India. I cannot stand like North Indian, South Indian food. So yeah, I think I love being here. Like, it's like, again, it's like I couldn't have more gratitude to be a part of this cinema. And now that everybody wants to be in South cinema. Now it's pan India. Yeah.
Then and upcoming projects and என்னென்ன ப்ராஜெக்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கீங்க? ஸோ ஃபியூச்சர் ப்ராஜெக்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் கோல்ஸ், சம்திங் எல்ஸ்.
My upcoming projects wise, Pichaikaran 2 takes the lead.
Tamil.
Yeah.
Other language?
In Telugu, I have 2 movies upcoming. One is Uru Peru Bhairava Kona, which is a Sandeep Kishan starrer, and it's directed by V. Anand. It's a fantastical movie and very adventurous and thrilling, and it's a family entertainer again, and even the trailer recently came out for that. Please do watch. And we've got an insane amount of positive responses for that as well. So very grateful for that again. Another thing that's upcoming is Eagle movie, which is a Karthik Gattumaneni directorial, and stars Ravi Teja sir and me. So that's another thing I'm very excited about, because it's a very different concept, never been done before, and I'm very excited for more. Yeah, so these two things, plus I've done Cat and Fuzzy, so the season 2 are remaining. So but again, that's something that's gonna happen soon. And in Hindi, I think I did one film and I'm in talks for a couple more, and the rest I'm taking more narrations and stuff and seeing what happens.
எல்லா லாங்குவேஜில் பிஸியாக இருக்கிற ஒரே ஆள் வந்து நம்ம காவ்யா தாப்பர் தான். தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச் ஃபார் இன்டர்வியூ.
Thank you so much for taking the time out and waiting for me, especially on such a busy day. Really appreciate it.
தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச் அண்ட் தேங்க்யூ. வண்டர்ஃபுல்.
வணக்கம் எல்லாருக்கும். வாவ் தமிழா சேனலுக்கு லைக் பண்ணுங்க, ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க, சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்க. முக்கியமா பக்கத்துல இருக்கிறதுல டிங் 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 அந்த நோட்டிபிகேஷன் பண்ணி அதை டாயிங்னு அடிச்சிருங்க. அப்பதான் அவங்க போடுற ஒரு வீடியோ உங்களுக்கு அப்லோட் ஆகும். நன்றி, வணக்கம், நமஸ்காரம்.